Hey, good morning. It's early. Not been back from work very long. I am very, very tired. But I'm going to shoot a very quick and dirty video based on a comment that I got on my last video. Those who haven't seen it, I've done two videos basically showing how you can get a really good nu metal tone from a budget guitar and a budget set of pedals. And the second video was it was in two parts. The second part was the pedals, the pedal board that I made specifically for that reason. And in that video I said that I bought the Boss Metal Zone back in, I think it was like 98 or 99, from a shop in Denmark Street. I went down there and there was a geezer, like a young fella, like a teenager, playing it at the back of the store, and anyone that worked in the store, or everyone that worked in the store, was at the front of the store laughing about it. Like, they were saying it's trash and it's terrible and da-da-da-da. I heard it and I really, really liked it. And the reason that I liked it was because all I could hear was Around the Fur by Deftones coming out of it. Like, it is that album in a box, like in a pedal. It does, it's a pretty versatile pedal, way more than it gets credit for. Way more than it gets credit for. Like, I'm not one of these, I love it and I will defend it to the death. Yeah, it's not great, but it does that album to a T. So I got a message on that video that says, it's from Astral AWA 9688. I hope I got that right, I don't know. Who says, "You nailed a very good tone with budget pedals, thank you. Can you make a video achieving the Deftones tone with the same pedals, including the Metal Zone?" I can do you one better. I can show you how to get Around the Fur out of the Metal Zone and only the Metal Zone. No EQ pedal, no noise gate, no effects, nothing. Providing that you've got a guitar with two humbuckers and a Metal Zone, you can play that album. Very quick, brief introduction. If you've never heard the album, A, go and listen to it. It's on Spotify. But B, it is the perfect album for people who are learning to play guitar. Because the reason for that is simple. You can learn a lot about playing guitar that isn't actually playing guitar. Allow me to explain. The physical act of playing guitar is one thing, but there's other things as well, like tunings and rhythms and, very basic chord shape. Around the Fur is great. Around the Fur is really good for that, purely because it is an album with basically one guitar tuning all the way through, and the tracks that aren't in that tuning, you can transpose them really easily. So you learn how to transpose songs that aren't in a particular tuning. You can learn that. Stephen Carpenter uses basically bar chords and power chords throughout. There's no complex picking, there's no solos. Providing that you've got one or two shapes down, he just uses that shape all the way through the album. He only really uses about 12 chords throughout the entire album. It is a perfect way to begin guitar. The other reason it's great to start, every single track on that album is an absolute banger. Like 10 out of 10, no notes. It is incredible, the album itself. The fact that it's really, really easy to play, and you can dial in a tone with one pedal, and you can kind of play it from beginning to end without really changing anything, is a bonus. Like, that's nice as well. That's great on top. Let me show you the way the Metal Zone is set up. Okay, so the primary focus of that last video was this. This is the Tantrum by K-Line. I am a massive fan of K-Line pedals. I think they're amazing, and their price does not reflect their quality. They are incredibly high quality with an insanely low, barrier to entry. They are the best value for money you can get as far as pedal goes. I'm a huge fan of K-Line, and this pedal I love. This is the Tantrum. It is a high gain distortion pedal, and it's, let's just say, a love letter to the Boss MT2. It's very, let's say, close to it, but it's just got a few little differences. First is the boost that is built in, and secondly the gain, the distortion, sorry, it's got a kind of a different sort of sweep to it. You can go from very low and subtle to incredibly, insanely distorted and nasty sounding, but without a dynamic jump. It's very subtle, the gain stage. So I love this pedal, and like I said, it is a very close facsimile of the Metal Zone. So the way I've got this set up at the minute, I use this for my corn tone, and if you can see, it's got Fs painted on at various points. The F stands for Follow the Leader. The way I've got this set up now, this is the Follow the Leader album sound. So yeah, that is my corn sound. This is my Deftones sound. So leaning in, for a little bit of basic history, the Metal Zone by Boss was released in the early 90s, I think like 91, 92, I think. And it is a very high gain distortion pedal. Like, that's it, pure and simple. It has got a 4-band EQ on it, which differentiates it from other high distortion pedals at the time. Like I say, heard this pedal. I love this pedal because it is the Around the Fur album in a box. That is what this does. It can do other things, but it does that spot on. So the settings I've got, the level is adjustable. It's basically just, you know, your volume, but your low band EQ is pretty much maxed out. The high is set to around just above, what's that, 3 o'clock? Sort of like in between 2 and 3 o'clock. The, the mid frequency is set to about 2, and the middle is set to about 11. And then the distortion is set again to just above 3 o'clock. So these are the settings I have here, and you click that on, and it is that album. Like, straight up, it is that album. Again, you can use a noise gate if you want, but I would turn it off, because again, on the album, there's a lot of like amp hum, and you can get that out of the pedal. Like, the pedal's got a little bit of hum to it, use it, it's on the album. Turn off your noise gate, don't need the EQ, just go in guitar, Metal Zone, and again to the amp, which is set to basically 12 o'clock. If anything, I would say take the treble on your amp setting and just back it off a little bit. Like, back off the treble a little bit, because this thing is quite trebly. Just back it off a little bit with those, again, those EQ settings, and you've got it. Alright, let's check it out. Okay, so I'm just using my phone mic. I have no idea what this sounds like, but again, like I said in my last video, what I am hearing in the room is not what you're hearing through a phone microphone and then compressed and uploaded onto YouTube. What you're hearing is not what I'm hearing, but you'll get the idea. Very quickly, the guitar I'm using is an Ibanez 520. Like I've said before, this is my favorite guitar of all time. In fact, it might even be my favorite thing of all time. It is incredible. With the amount of gain and the amount of distortion that we're using, any guitar will work. As long as it's got 2 humbuckers, any guitar will work. The most important thing with Around the Fur is the tuning. Like, the tuning has to be spot on. And like I said, it's take every string, tune it down half a step, and then take your top string, and then tune that down so it matches the 3rd string. So what you should have, right, is drop C sharp or drop D flat. But let's say, for the argument's sake, drop C sharp. So it would be C sharp, C sharp, and then C sharp, G sharp, C sharp, F sharp, A sharp, D sharp. Yeah. Once you've got that, and if you sort of play an open chord, you will hear Around the Fur. Like, that's it. That's the album right there. And then that shape that he plays all the way through is just a bar chord with a fifth on what would be your F sharp string. So the other thing to remember, which is quite important, is that Stephen Carpenter, around about this time, was using, like I said before, 1 or 2 chord shapes and very, very, very basic, like, chord, progressions. It's not complicated. The thing with Stephen Carpenter is that this hand isn't the main focus. It's your rhythm hand. Like, the rhythm is important with, Around the Fur, and especially on Adrenaline as well. How you mute and getting the, like I say, the feel of the song is way more important than what this is doing. This is just playing the same shape all the way up and down the neck. Forget that. It's this hand that's important. Secondly, the reason I keep banging on about the 2 pickups is there is a section on Die the Flu where Steph uses I think it's like a tremolo pedal, but it's set really high. So it gives you that "How Soon Is Now" sound by the Smiths. The ba 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 ba. You can fake that. If you've got 2 pickups, you can just fake that. Like, you don't need that tremolo pedal. And what you want to do is take your neck pickup and roll it basically to off, like mute. And then with your bridge pickup on full, you can use your pickup selector as a kill switch. So again, providing that the rhythm's there, that section where he's basically going, you can basically, providing that your rhythm is down, you can fake that tremolo sound. Also, he uses in some songs like a phaser pedal for like the intro to Be Quiet and Drive. There's like a phaser or some kind of like weird EQ. Again, you can fake that. If you play more towards the bridge, right, you can kind of get there. So again, it's not perfect. I live in I don't live there. I live in a place that's close enough. But yeah, you can kind of, like, it's kind of there. The only other little thing that I would suggest is, before you start playing, I wouldn't mute that straight away. What I would do is get your, and then just hit a note and then turn it up just until it starts breaking up, maybe a bit more. And the reason you want that there is so when the album goes into Mascara, and then when the chorus kicks in, you can just flick it to the other pickup. Okay, so we've got our neck pickup, which is just breaking up, and that's set and ready to go. And we know that once the track Mascara is finished, we're gonna roll that to mute, and then that'll be our tremolo effect for Die the Flu. Bridge pickups on max, metal zone is set, and the amp is nicely humming away there, which is good, because again, that's all part of the album. Now remember, what you're about to hear isn't the same thing as what I'm hearing. Like, what you're hearing on YouTube, not the same as in the room. And even if you were in the room with me, you might hear it and go, that doesn't sound like the album. You know what? Doesn't matter. It's close enough. It's close enough with 1 pedal, 1 guitar, and 1 amp. And I'm okay with that. All right, we're better to start track 1. That sounds pretty close. That sounds really close. Let's just pick a few more riffs at random. Like, there's plenty of really, really, really good riffs on this album. Let's just pick a few. that chord. So yeah, a Metal Zone and a 2 humbucker guitar and a 20-year-old knackered practice amp, and you can get Around the Fur real easy. Real easy. Check out those settings. Thanks for the comment.